Hey guys, Ronnie here. It is a Sunday afternoon and I'm just chilling at home. The family has gone away for a baby shower or something to that effect, and I'm just chilling out at home alone reading Facebook and YouTube comments. And I thought, you know what? Let's have a little fun. Let's answer some of these comments in the video form. One of the reasons because I just hate typing. Some of you guys send us messages and say, you know, I never got a response back. Doesn't mean we don't read them. We do try to read them. I just hate typing. So to answer and to respond to some of the YouTube comments we've got this week, I thought, you know what, let's just hop on here, have a little bit of fun on a Sunday afternoon. I'm going to read and respond to some of your comments via YouTube. So the first comment comes from, this is on our Bearded Dragon cage setup video from Taryn Morris. Taryn writes, "Hey guys, just recently got a baby dragon. I am very nervous about taking care of this little man, and y'all have really helped. However, I'm a little unsure of what to do about sand. It seems to be the cleanest option, but I want him to be safe. What would you suggest for a baby in a 40-gallon tank?" You know, I'm going to be honest with you. And this is probably going to get me some criticism in the comments. And that's okay. If you want to use sand, use sand. Now, are there risks to using sand? I believe those risks are very, very minimal. Now, I'm going to tell you what most people are going to say right off the bat. Most people are going to tell you, don't use sand. Sand causes impaction. However, these animals eat in the wild. Sometimes, occasionally, they eat on sand. I know their whole habitat is not completely sand, but we'd be stupid to think that a bearded dragon in the wild doesn't get at least some sand in their mouth from time to time. The problem with impaction in dragons is usually, more often than not caused by what you give them to eat. It's often caused by what you don't provide for them, and that being sufficient amounts of water. It's dehydration that you got to watch for. Now, there are many keepers out there that do use sand as a substrate. They do it successfully, and they have no problems with it. So for people who say you can't keep them on sand, it's nonsense. But again, you got to watch for some things. Now, one of the things I don't like about sand is it literally sticks to anything. So any food that you spray, if any sand gets kicked up on that food, it's going to stick. That sand will stick to any moisture, and your dragons could get that in their mouth. The other thing that I personally don't like about sand is the fact that some of those particles of sand can get around the eyes of reptiles. It can cause some eye problems. So for that reason, I'm not a big fan of sand, but you certainly can use it. Really and truly, whatever you use, make sure that your dragon is not allergic to it. Make sure that you're able to keep it clean and disinfected. That's more important than where you're going to use sand or where you're not going to use sand. Personally, I like cypress mulch. I like hard packed natural dirt that is more clumped together type dirt than the loose sandy particles. But you know, that's my preference. You may aesthetically like sand, and if so, just use it safely. So our next comment here comes from our video Common Bearded Dragon Mistakes. And this is from Devin Stewart. Devin writes, "Your videos are very insightful and helpful. I just impulse bought a beardie. However, it was from a breeder who was very helpful. But after doing my own research, I was terrified about what was the right thing to do. Luckily, he had all the same answers as you do. I'm glad you mentioned not believing all the internet hype before I had a panic attack. Ha ha, thanks again." Devin, you know, this is one of those things that makes the internet both a blessing and a curse. Many years ago, when I started working with reptiles, we were not able to have access to all the information that's available today. So in order for us to learn, number one, we had to learn from observation. We had to go out into the wild, interact with animals in their natural habitat. And we had to learn that way. Or we had to go to these weird little things called books, encyclopedias. We had to research, and we had to learn about these reptiles. Today, we have access literally right at our fingertips, and I say that is a blessing. But the curse is we also have a great deal of wrong or conflicting information right at our fingertips, and sometimes I understand where you're coming from. It does cause, especially a new person, to be a bit overwhelmed. That's the reason why we try to simplify things on our YouTube channel, on our videos. We try to keep it very simple. And we try to be reasonable. There are a lot of people out there saying that you can't do things that many professional breeders have been doing successfully for many, many years of working with these animals. There's people out there saying that you should do things that no professional breeder or no one who's worked with these animals more than a year or two would tell you to do. One such thing is the people nowadays who are telling everybody feed kale. Kale is the best green vegetable, and that's not true. It's simply not. But there's a lot of bad information out there available, and so you're right, having to go through. Now, you mentioned the fact that your breeder that bred your dragon also agreed with the things that we say, and that's usually what we find. We find people who do this for a living do things very, very similar to the way we do things, because we learn from one another. Most of us who are breeding successfully have done it for many, many years, and we've learned things from one another, and that's why so many of us have similar ways to do it. And then with the invention of social media and Facebook, and these groups began to form, and all of a sudden everybody with access to a keyboard became a herpetologist overnight. And and it's a mess, really. It's what it's created, and that's the curse part. It's a mess in that people. Not all Facebook groups, okay? I'm going to go ahead and say it. There are some good ones out there. In fact, I'm a member of a couple of Facebook groups that are pretty good. But Facebook groups are known for being brutal. People go on there and they ask a simple, innocent question, like the young lady earlier, can I keep sand in my dragon's cage? And all of a sudden, just everybody comes down. You're stupid. You're ignorant. People like you shouldn't even keep a reptile. Just hateful. Without offering to help them to learn the right way to do it, they just attack them for different things. And I've seen that so many times on Facebook groups that, that's one of the reasons why we monitor comments in our videos, is because I said when we started this channel, we would not allow our channel to do that. And we had, in fact, I booted a guy last week off our Facebook page for the very thing. Someone comes along, has an opposing opinion. It's not, hey, let's just act like grown-ups here. It was, immediately got on the guy, started name calling. I'm done. We're not going to be that here. And so yeah, I get where you're coming from. I agree with you 100%. There's a lot of bad information out there that can cause you to panic. You did the right thing, though. Don't just take our opinion. We tell people on this channel, the way we do things here, that's just the way we do things. I'm not even going to tell you it's the best way to do something, but it is the way that has worked for me. And if and when I find a better way to do something, we will switch. We don't think we know it all. I certainly don't. I have learned some things from some of you, our viewers, since we started this channel that have been a big help to me. And none of us have a monopoly on the truth in this industry or in this hobby. And so we always can learn from one another. Keep the good information out there, question the bad. Like I say, always get more than one opinion. If something sounds off, if somebody tells you something and your gut instinct says, no, that sounds off, double check it. Go check behind them. Make sure, talk to someone else. And again, be careful to consider the source of where that information is coming from. All right, we got one more here. Let me pull this one up. This one, and guys, I apologize if I don't get these names right. This is from Noemi Guzman, and she writes, our school. No, wait, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Our school just ordered mealworms for the first time to watch them go through their life cycle. Unfortunately, they arrived as adult beetles and were very minimal to no real way to care for them. Your video has provided extremely helpful and what all we need to do to watch the next generation grow and how to care for them in the process. Thank you so much. Well, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name again for fear I'm going to probably mess it up. But that was on our mealworm care and breeding video, so we do thank you for that. Good luck to you guys in raising mealworms. I will tell you one thing. We used to breed mealworms here at Cold Blood Creations. We had to stop because me and almost everybody else that works for me developed an allergy to them. And it got so bad, we just said, you know what, it's cheaper to buy them than to breed them. So we don't have to deal with the frass and so forth. But anyway, once again, thank you for your comments and good luck with your endeavor. I'll tell you what, guys, let's do one more. I'm going to do one more here. This is from, I don't know the person's name. Their YouTube channel handle is Patriot. And Patriot sent this comment on our Bearded Dragon cage setup video. And he writes, I have a heat emitter, produces no light, that keeps his basking area at 105 degrees at all times, day and night. What I'm wondering is it bad for some nights my dragon will sleep in that basking area throughout the night? I don't know if that is too high of a nighttime temperature for him. Thank you so much for all the information. You guys are awesome. Well, Patriot, thank you so much for your question, brother, and your comment. I'm going to answer your question like this. Those dragons know more about what's good for them and what they need than we do, to be totally honest with you. These animals survive on their own, all by themselves, in nature, without our interference, so they know what they need. Now, we study this, and we study it in their natural habitat, and we try to mimic those things in captivity. But the reality to it is that these animals have just been created with an amazing ability to survive. That's how a species stays here, is that they learn and they thrive. So I tell you this, if your dragon is sleeping in very warm temperatures at night, trust your dragon's instinct. It's not caused him any ill effects so far, and I kind of doubt it's going to cause him any ill effects. When we suggest nighttime lows, usually I suggest it in terms of this is the lowest minimal temperature. In other words, don't use a ceramic heater, and if you're, unless you're 70 and below. But then again, there's some people that run them 24 hours a day and they have success, with that. I just say your dragon doesn't require it. If your temperature is dropping down at night to 74 degrees, your dragon doesn't require a ceramic heater. But hey, it's one of those things, we talked about this earlier. It's one of those things where people are going to argue about it. If your dragon is wanting to bask under, what'd you say, it was 105 degrees, if he wants to sleep that nice and warm, God bless him. I can relate to him. My wife likes to sleep at about 105 degrees herself. And anyway, thank you guys for watching. This is just something we did spur of the moment, just for kicks and giggles here on YouTube this Sunday afternoon. I do appreciate you guys being with us. Thank you guys so much for your comments over YouTube. And we hope to see you soon in another full-length video here on Cold Blood Creations on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your evening or week.